Remember, in Babylonian mathematics, 0 does not exist. So that means you got 22. Taylor Swift had the song 22. It means you have a dual identity. So this is, now we're talking split, meaning your brain can only take so much trauma before it starts to try to defend itself. And to prevent you being exposed to too much trauma, your brain will split and it creates a whole new file. So it means you have a dual identity. The media said Tory Lanez, which is an anagram for Torah, shot Megan in the foot twice. The purpose of the PSYOPs campaign is not only to insult your intelligence. It's to colonize you. Psychological operations are directed by global intelligence networks, and they function like this. El Chapo was set up by two twins. It's the Gemini twin ritual. Trump is a Gemini. The sign of a Gemini is a twin.
There are two Donald Trumps.
So we'll do red tie Trump, blue tie Trump.
Now, yesterday we saw, it seemed to me, two different Trumps.
Dick Gregory said there are two Trumps.
First, there's two Trumps.
Okay.
Trump says there are two Donald Trumps.
I think there are two Donald Trumps.
Dr. Ben Carson says there are two Trumps.
There are two different Donald Trumps.
And why did he say that? Well, why do we know Ben Carson? Because he separated those twins. And when the Twin Towers fell, Trump said he was right there. After the Twin Towers fell, Trump's 40 Wall Street building became the tallest building in Manhattan, New York. After the towers fell, Trump wanted to rebuild the towers, and it was supposed to be called Twin Towers 2. Trump was pushing a proposal, which eventually was killed in 2006, and they instead went with a new tower called the Freedom Tower. Trump was very upset about that. 2017, ABC profiled a rock band called Twin Ritual. Before they gave you crack, they gave you rock. George Floyd killed in the Twin Cities over a fake 20.
A little twin.
Harriet was supposed to be on the 20. Kanye West said Harriet didn't free the slaves. In a move that looks strangely similar to the Kaepernick kneel, Derek Chauvin held his knee on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That's the same time Flight 11 collided into North Tower. David Chappelle had a comedy special entitled 846. Baseball team, the Minnesota Twins, had a moment of silence for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Then Congress appeared before America wearing kente cloths that were worn by the Ashanti dynasty, who sold black Americans into slavery. And these were the cloths they wore when they did it. So he called out for his mama, who had already been dead for 2 years. They celebrate 33 because that's how old Jesus was when they killed him. This is the same group. Now, the Minneapolis riots began on East 33rd Street next to a garbage can that had 666 painted on it. Derek Chauvin had been on the police force for 19 years. That's twins with the psychological operation going on called COVID-19. Derek's wife is the former Miss Minnesota. She wrote a bad check for $42, which is Kobe Bryant's number backwards. Just to make sure you know that this is a ritual and that it's connected to Kobe. She wrote the check for $42.24. George Floyd's daughter has the same name as Kobe Bryant's daughter, Gianna. If everyone on the planet is blind, you only need one eye to rule. George Floyd has a son named Mason. George Floyd's funeral was paid for by Floyd Mayweather. Floyd said it was the right thing to do. So they're talking about the right wing. He gave the check to Robert Swearington. Robert Swearington is 33. He owns a funeral home in Fort Bend. The right-wing sheriff of Fort Bend is running for Congress, and he has a twin. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 black men. 2 cops were killed in McAllen, Texas. Twin hurricanes going on at one time. Hurricane Irwin and Hurricane Hillary. Stormy Daniels says Trump was in the bestiality. PETA said the same thing about Steve Irwin. Trump signs a bill into law making animal cruelty a federal felony. If we have 2 Trumps, we have Jekyll and Hyde. Nipsey was killed outside of a clothing store in Hyde Park. All hurricanes come from Africa. At this point, you had twin hurricanes coming from Irwin and Hillary. 2 hurricanes means it's going to be stormy. Stormy Daniels. Biblical prophecy is about the seals. While Daniel was in the lion's den, the king came in and used a ring to leave a seal. Lord of the Rings, which equals Saturn worship. Chromatic rings are melanin. So you got these melanin rings in the apocalyptic vision described by John in the Bible, where he details the 7 seals, which launches the first trumpet. Trump's middle name is John. Trump pardoned a Navy SEAL named Gallagher. There's also a judge named Gallagher who hates pedophiles. He represents the 396 District Court. 396, it's not just odd numbers. I'm talking about odd people. The Odd Fellows. Secret Society 369 is the number Tesla used to build a weapon called the Death Ray. It's a possibility. You have to do the research for yourself that Trump's uncle may have had something to do with Tesla ending up dead. 3 is the square root of 9. Now, Gallagher lobbied for the electrocution of pedophiles is an indicator of Tesla, the so-called father of electricity. Now you also have the Singer Seal. We're talking about Daniel Seals, right? You have the Singer Seal. He has the song Kiss from a Rose. Trump signed the police reform executive order at the Rose Garden. Before he signed the order, he mentioned Rose, who was killed by a cop named Michael Rosefeld. If you remove the F, his name spells Rose. Now, Rose is important because when you think about the rose, you're thinking about the assassination of the black leader ritual, which is the Christ ritual.